Okay. So students, today we will be discussing about interconnect modeling and extraction. So how do we model the interconnect and how can we prepare a model such that we can analyze the effects corresponding to the interconnect, degradation whenever signals are traveling through the interconnect. So for that we will be discussing about interconnect modeling and extraction. So why at all we need to do modeling? So global interconnect play an important role in determining the overall performance, power consumption, signal integrity and reliability of integrated circuits. The increasing importance of interconnects in the result of device and interconnect scaling as described. This trend has caused the emergence of interconnect driven design methodologies for high frequency for high performance ICs. These methodologies affect the design process in a multitude of ways. A variety of design criteria exist for understanding the effects of interconnects on the overall performance parameters such as latency, bandwidth, power dissipation, noise and area. So students, today we will be discussing about or we will try to understand the interconnect design criteria such as latency, bandwidth, power dissipation, noise and area in detail in this lecture. So as we all know, global interconnects are very important because they define your on-chip buses, your address buses, your timing signals, your clock distribution wires, or maybe they are distributing the power supply and distributing the ground to all the blocks. So that is why the global interconnect decide the overall performance, the overall power consumption, signal integrity and reliability of the. So interconnect modeling is very critical. Starting from the, let's say, 1960, we have started implementing the circuits in 1 micron technology to today we arrived at let's say 14 nanometer to 7 nanometer manufacturing. So types of interconnect model also over a period of time change from short circuit to capacitive model to RC model to RLC model. So this is, we can see, evolution of the modeling over a period of 30 to 40 years time. So you can see here in this slide from 1960 to 70, when the number of components on chip were very few. At that time the interconnect was, and the frequency of in terms of kilohertz, the operating frequency or signals which are traveling through this chip are only of the order very low frequency. So the wires are not giving any parasitic effects, and as a result the wires are modeled as a short circuit. Then next in 1970 to 80 packet density is increased. So what happened, and we have scaled down the devices. Not only that, we have scaled down the interconnects. As a result, what is happening? Two nearby interconnects are showing coupling effects. So if high frequency signal is passing through one interconnect, it is going to be coupled to the another interconnect which is maybe carrying the DC voltage. So that is why the coupling led to the modeling of the interconnect as capacitive model. Now after in 1980 onwards, what happened? The interconnects are so long that they are comparable to the transmission line. So what is happening, whenever let's say power supply is distributed, or you can say any signal is distributed to different blocks, what is happening? Because the wires are made up of metals and having some finite resistivity, so the signals are the amplitude, or you can say voltage of the signal is degrading as we move on along the interconnect. So as a result, the resistive effect is also came into picture. So this is a parasitic resistance. So mid 1980s and onwards, the interconnects were modeled using the RC parasitic model, and later when we are talking about system on chip, the inductive effects are also came into picture, because now interconnects are so long that inductive effects are, and they are nearby each other, and the scaling is the distance between the two nearby interconnect in terms of, you can say, nanometers. So what is happening if the current is flowing in one interconnect? It is creating a magnetic field around the interconnect, and as a result that magnetic field is coupled with the another nearby interconnect. So it is giving the coupling, and that is giving the inductance. So the wires are so long that we cannot ignore the inductive effect. Because this inductance present, what will happen? It will create a oscillation, or maybe creating a ringing in the voltage, or maybe creating overshoots and undershoots. So that is why the modeling is changed over a period of time. So in this lecture we are only discussing this much. So now to deal with all this degradation, because signals are degraded whenever they are traveling through the global interconnect, as a result the design is to be taken care, and following parameters are to be most important. So one is, or you can say, these are the design criteria based on which you need to design the interconnect network. So one is interconnect delay, bandwidth, noise, power dissipation, and physical area. So let us see more details about all these parameters. So what is interconnect delay? So you can see here how interconnect delay is calculated. So see this diagram. So here you can say that I am showing you the arrow, or you can say pointer, using pointer I am showing. So see here we have given the clock signal. So you can see here how you will calculate the delay along this path. So C to Q delay. So whenever clock is applied, then only whatever signal you are applying to the D input, to this D flip flop, will be passed to the Q output. So this is you can say C to Q delay. Plus this interconnect having some finite length will also offer some delay. Then this combinational circuit will take some calculation, and will so that is why the output will appear after some delay. After that, let's say this output of the combinational circuit is applied to D input. Then now it is related to arrival of clock at this input. So before the arrival of the clock, the data must be present here. Then only it will be transmitted via this clock, via the presence of this clock. Otherwise not. So that is called setup time off. So if you add all these delays, then you will be able to calculate the clock frequency. So next is bandwidth. So bandwidth is very important, as it is directly related to speed and data rate, right? So we all know the data rate we are using every day. So the data transmission capacity of the interconnect is related with the bandwidth, or that is called the bandwidth. So maximum number of bits that an interconnect can reliably transmit, that is known as bandwidth. So bandwidth is proportional to reciprocal of the delay. So now overall bandwidth, another is overall bandwidth. So you can see here figure A. So figure A we have more dense, or you can say, interconnects, and in figure B we have less dense interconnects. So overall bandwidth, if you say, then figure A gives more overall bandwidth as compared to B. Why? Because more number of wires, so more bandwidth. But if you see the delay, then in case of figure A, each wire is offering more delay as compared to B. Why? Because in case of B, width of the wire is more. So delay produced along the interconnect in case of B, that is less. So that is why B wires are more speedy as compared to A. So now we will be discussing about noise. So noise is very important, because we know that signal integrity issues are there, and that is why we must analyze the noise. That is why we must design such that the interconnect network is minimum affected by noise. So noise is always there in analog circuits, digital circuits, and all different circuits. Noise margin issue due to technology scaling. So for digital, we have to consider noise margin. So with scaling, what is happening? Noise margins are reducing. So as a result, the probability that digital signals are affected by noise, that is increasing. Not only that, critical path and circuit delay are more sensitive to noise, and that will lead to signal integrity, because device size is already reduced. So density of the device within a circuit making it is more pronounced to, you can say, noise coupling among the various circuit elements. So digital circuit with static CMOS logic is immune to noise due to high noise margins. The problem of noise arises because of noise margins are reduced due to scaling of power supply and threshold voltage. Operating frequency have increased over a period of time because placing more constraint on the timing requirement of the critical path. The delay of the interconnect has become comparable or greater than the delay of logic gate in deep submicron technology. So these are the reasons why noise is to be, you should design the interconnect with considering the effect of noise. Then different types of coupling noises are also present. You can say inductive coupling noise or capacitive coupling noise. Then power dissipation. You know that power dissipation is very important because if excessive power dissipation is there on chip, what will happen? Heat is generated, temperature on chip is rising, and as a result, reliability of the chip is overall in danger. So that is why power dissipation is also important criteria. So different types of power dissipations are there. You can say dynamic power dissipation, you can say, so overall power dissipation is leakage power dissipation plus dynamic plus static. So you can see here what is the power dissipation overall. Dynamic power dissipation due to interconnect is 50%. Interconnect capacitance, which is all our parasitic capacitances, which are unwanted. So they are dissipating 51% power dissipation. Then diffusion capacitance are giving 15% power dissipation. And gate capacitance are sharing 34% power dissipation. So this is all because of all parasitic capacitances which are there and we cannot do anything to it. And fifth one is physical area. So more than 2 billion transistors are there in single IC. Number of interconnect also increased significantly over a period of time. Number of metal layers to provide sufficient metal resources also therefore need to be increased. So that is why it is increasing the area. Additional layer increase fabrication cost. So that is why area is very important because it is cost. Buffer and pipeline resistor inserted along the interconnect further increase the silicon area. So that is why area is increasing from 1960 to today because silicon, you can say system on chip. That is why overall circuit is, overall system is we are implementing on the chip. That is why area occupied is always there and area is cost. That is why we must take care about the area. So thank you.